I did not like Infamous Second Son. Go ahead. Yeah. I see you going to the comments with your grubby little fingers, all mad without even hearing me out. Go ahead. I'll wait. All right. If you did say to actually see why some crazy guy on your For You page is just randomly rambling about how he doesn't like a game that came out 11 years ago. Damn. That's a lot to unpack later. What's up? My name's Soda, and I'm a YouTuber that talks about games and cars. Pick your poison and come chill with me. But remember, this is just my opinion. And I don't criticize anyone for actually liking this game, because I understand where the appeal comes from. And today, as you heard, I will be talking about how I actually don't like Infamous Second Son. Now, just like a lot of people, I know I can be extremely blinded by nostalgia and tend to compare things to older things, tainting how I feel about newer things. And I love Infamous 1 and 2, and I still believe that that game franchise should have more love for it, with either new games or remasters of the older ones. But for me, Second Son is another thing completely. Because when this game came out, I was 14. So it was still in my childhood years, and I have a lot of games that I'm nostalgic about that did come out in 2014. So why isn't this one of them? Well, let's kick it off with something really simple. I didn't like Delson Row. It didn't matter which path I went down, good or bad, Delson was just this most whatever character to me. Around this generation, I called it the Watchdog era, or to be more specific, the Watchdog 2 era. Because there were so many characters, designs, and games that centered around these no one understands me skinny jean wearing quirky hipsters that was either too edgy or too overly boring. And I hate to say it, Delson fit right in. Despite the few moments you get with Delson, I never felt any emotion or depth from him. He was supposed to be part of this village, but I never got that feel. I understand he was rebellious, but he felt more like he was from Seattle more than the village that he was from. He just felt like this guy who would listen to Deftone and constantly blabber about how this world is just an endless cycle of nothingness. Even when his brother died, I wanted to be sad. But am I really the only one that felt that it was lackluster as hell? Like, even his little rage fit he had after was just really man to me. And it felt short-lived, honestly, and it wasn't the death that wasn't sad, but Delson himself. Everything he does just felt extremely whatever. His emotions was always snarky remarks, almost angry, and frustrated, but never fully frustrated? I don't know. And constantly trying to force a joke out that wasn't really funny. It just felt like this game took everything so lightly that it forgot to be serious at times. Delson was literally the main character and the comedic relief. And honestly, I don't think it worked for him. I don't just want to compare this game to older ones, but the thing about those games, that you had Cole, someone that was usually more serious because of the responsibilities that he had because of the powers that was thrust upon them. And you had Zeke, who was someone that was more laid back and free with things, which allowed for Cole himself to actually be more funny at times. They were both two different personalities that worked off of each other, which made it more impactful when they would show traits of one another. Like, most of the time Zeke and Cole were together, Cole joked more often and opened up more than just being a stone-faced guy. And with Zeke, you had moments like his betrayal when he got jealous of Cole for being the cool superhero and he felt like he was useless in all of this stuff that was going on. Both are interesting concepts that make the character feel more interesting. Showing different sides of a character is what makes them more memorable. And every part of Delson's side were kind of the same. I mean, for both paths you took, it didn't matter which path you did take. It still felt like Delson was just this jerk who mainly thought about himself more than anyone else. Even when he was helping, he just didn't express anything besides being slightly irritated sometimes or slightly happy sometimes. And if he goes down the evil path, he's just a jerkier jerk than he would be going down the good path. Delson isn't the worst protagonist at all, but for me, I just never got any personal connections with the dude. Nor did I think he was really cool, but if I'm being fair, he's not the only character I didn't like. I also didn't like almost everyone that was in this game. Reggie, Fetch, Eugene, and even the main antagonist, Brooke, was all boring as hell to me. And if I didn't mention anyone else, it's because either I didn't care they existed because they weren't interesting enough, Or I forgot that they were there completely. Every character from start to finish had one personality trait, and that's what their trait was the entire game. Reggie was this do it by the books guy, following the rules cop, besides like a few instances, and when he did do things outside of the box, they acted like it was like the most revolutionary thing. Then you have Fetch, whose whole thing was obsessing over drug dealers because of the loss of her brother to drugs, which was a little bit more emotional, I'll say that, but she did it so much it got annoying. You could be talking about how you like to eat hamburgers, and she'd go on a whole rant about drug dealers. Like, okay, cool. Then you had Eugene, who was this shy nerd who turned into a cocky prick with his powers. And that's it. And Brooke, fuck that bitch. Cause what the fuck? Brooke was just a hypocritical racist bitch. Can I say that? I don't know. I'm putting it in anyways. On top of that, I don't think it was enough characters in this story to really flesh it out in the first place. Everything just felt dislocated. Like, instead of this long journey that takes a while to accomplish with mysteries, drama, and hardships, it just feels like five people arguing with each other while going through something really inconvenient that happens within a few days, which leaves a lot of access space that's just barren and lackluster. And that also probably has to do with the last problem I have with this game. The story and world building sucks. The whole story is about this revenge / rescue, depending on which route you took. And even then, I didn't really care. I don't understand how Brooke's whole thing is that she didn't want to cure someone just because she didn't get what she wanted. An innocent bystander got hurt because she, the government's conduit with powers, didn't get answers about a bioterrorist, aka a conduit prisoner, that she claimed was dangerous and could hurt other innocent bystanders. Which is even more crazy because she had already subdued the bioterrorist prior to their conversation. That is so stupid. Like, Brooke didn't even have a specific motive. Her whole thing was literally just putting conduits in prison and using them for whatever purpose they wanted. She was just a fucking lapdog, while being a walking contradiction the entire time. How the hell are you saving the town by literally being part of the problem? It would have made more sense for the main antagonist to be powerless, because at least I could give them some type of respect for, I don't know, standing up to people that can fucking blow up moons. But Brooke's whole thing was just a delirious woman who sprouted nonsense and was just a walking contradiction to herself. Like, when I finally beat her in the end, I wasn't satisfied because I saved the lady back in the village, nor because she had killed Reggie. I couldn't care less about either one of those motives. Nope, I was just happy because her reason for doing what she did was so fucking stupid. And I was just happy to shut her contradicting ass up. Which is bad because the motives of the game wasn't even the motive I had for beating the game. And talking about the motives of the game is the world building itself. Everything about Seattle is so damn boring and lifeless. There is nothing really going on in this city. Aside from a few interactions, this city is just barren. It feels like it's just a sandbox and only a sandbox that you can go around and blow stuff up. There are no memorable side missions with weird quirky NPCs. There's no real danger going on with the residents of Seattle. The collectibles are boring, the locations are bland, and even the enemies are just forgettable foot soldiers with nothing to them but a spongy ass head. And besides the few main characters in the story, nothing feels like it actually impacts the world outside. Everything just feels super dissociated from the outside world. Seattle just feels more like a huge level that you just have to complete rather than being an open world that you explore. Is this not supposed to be a city that's supposed to be lively and thriving? And hey, maybe that's how Seattle actually feels. I don't know, I've never been. Like, dude, Infamous 1 and 2 both starts their world building the minute you get to the home screen. Infamous 1 starts off with the city literally being blown to pieces, leaving the question of what the hell just happened. And Infamous 2 starts off with a big fight between an enemy that we were already warned about in part 1. In Infamous Second Son, you start the game by painting. A really lousy painting at that. But with everything being said, I don't dislike this game because I'm super blinded by the nostalgia I have for the older games. Because there are things you can find in any game that can make them bad, but I legit think these are just a few things that I mentioned that was just enough to actually turn me away from this game. Because despite me not liking this game, the only reason I finished this game was because I actually did have fun with all the powers and mechanics this game had. Because I think the powers were gas. The game itself is actually a great game. There is no argument there. It's a really tight, solid feeling game at the end of the day. And despite it coming out 11 years ago, the graphics and gameplay still holds up pretty well for today's standards. And I think that it's going to beat the test of time. I hate that this game was so well made with the poor execution of a story and world building, because it just feels like so much wasted potential. I know I might be the only person that feels that way, because Second Son did get received really well when it came out. And honestly, I do understand why ultimately it did. But how do you guys feel about it? Did I make a new perspective for you, or do you still think it's just a great story regardless? Let me know down in the comments and leave a like if you've gotten this far. It's free. And I know people love free shit. And you know what else is free? Subscribing and clicking that bell. Make sure to keep up with all my latest videos that come out. Like I said in previous videos, I'm a certified yapper and I like yapping to you guys, so let me know what else you guys like me to yap about. But I'll catch you guys later. Make sure to stay tuned and stay chill, my guy. Soda out. Peace.